This is a completely impromptu live stream because of the breaking news that disgraced former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn has now agreed or is open to the idea of taking immunity in order to testify in the investigation into collusion between Donald Trump and Russia. I don't know that people are understanding just how major this is. And that is exactly what I want to talk about today. And I apologize for the camera, totally impromptu stream. It's because of breaking news that I'm doing this, and I get it's probably kind of dark and the angle's weird on the camera. I was not prepared to do this. And the idea here is, listen, if you haven't done anything wrong, you wouldn't offer to testify in exchange for immunity, because the obvious question is immunity from what? Okay, so we will be talking about this. Super chat is on. What else? I will be doing live shout outs and thank yous to people who sign up for membership at davidpakman.com/membership. And it is stunning that I still have people on the left. Obviously people on the right are telling me, David, there's no story here. Sean Spicer saying, hey, Trump Russia is a done deal, it's over. But even some people on the left are saying that to me. People on the left are saying, David, there is no story here. How is there no story when the National Security Advisor that resigned in shame after lying about his contacts with Russian officials is now saying, I would take criminal immunity to testify into this entire Trump-Russia thing? You don't do that unless there's something to testify about. So welcome to everybody who's joining the live stream. Please, people saying, by the way, that the video is bad, but the audio is good. This is totally impromptu. I can't do a damn thing about it. I just plugged in my headphones and went live, and we're getting what we're getting. So yes, indeed, folks, what's amazing to me about what's going on right now in this Trump-Russia thing, and really in general with this Trump administration, is that even like the secondary and tertiary scandals, if it were Obama, whose biggest scandal was he wore a tan suit to talk about something serious, if this were Obama, who had even the tertiary scandals that Donald Trump has, it would be 24/7 news on all right-wing media. And I just took a screenshot, and I'm going to share it to my Instagram later, by the way. Follow me on Instagram, david.pacman. Fox News is covering that Mike Pence won't have dinner alone with women other than his wife. The news is breaking. I get back. I was out with some friends. I start looking at who's covering what. And Tucker Carlson on Fox News' big story, as Michael Flynn is saying, I will exchange immunity to testify in this investigation into Trump-Russia. The headline is, VP Pence won't dine alone with other women. So what does this tell us? It tells us a number of things. It tells us, number one, that right-wing media just will not cover what is going on here. They're just not going to tell you what's going on. And the idea is the same idea that Sean Spicer had yesterday during his press conference, where he basically said the entire Trump-Russia thing is done. Everybody's been cleared. There's nothing to look at, which obviously isn't true. We've got a House investigation, which is bogus. I mean, Devin Nunes, it's not a serious investigation, but we've got it. We've got the Senate investigation, which may not be that much better. It might be better. It might not be better. And then we have at minimum the FBI investigation. So it's a total distraction technique. And again, when your former national security advisor is saying, if you give me immunity, I will testify, he's done something. He has done something wrong, and I don't know how far this is going to go. I was watching a little bit of Rachel Maddow, and she was saying, it's not clear if this is going to be presidency ending or not, but it's getting very serious. And, Ivanka Trump being hired without a salary by the Trump administration, if it were Obama, it would be a major scandal. But in the time of Trump, it barely even registers. I mean, we've been covering that story and the anti-nepotism laws and everything that's going on, but the secondary and tertiary scandals barely register. It is stunning, truly, truly stunning. Big thank you to Gus Did, who just signed up for membership at davidpakman.com/membership. Thank you so much, Gus. Also, thanks to Josh McKenzie, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership. Membership is the number one funding source for our show. And we have a coupon code, which is I voted 17, and it will give you a 40% discount off of membership if you use the coupon code, and that is it's bigly tremendous. I mean, I don't know how else I can say it. We are mostly funded by membership, and I appreciate everybody who's been signing up, and absolutely will continue doing live thank yous and shout outs to people as they sign up. Think about the comments. By the way, we're talking about Michael Flynn, disgraced, shamed former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who resigned in shame after it was revealed that he lied about the contents of his conversations with Russian ambassador to the U.S., Sergei Kislyak. He resigned in shame. He now has said he is willing to cooperate with the congressional investigation into the Trump-Russia collusion scandal in exchange for immunity, which of course tells us that he must at least believe he may have done something criminal. Otherwise, why would he make that offer, right? We're talking about that, and we're taking questions, and welcome to everybody who's joining me on the live stream. There's so many directions that we could go in this conversation, and I keep going. We've got a situation here that should be bipartisan. We've got a country that has an election which may have been sort of subjugated or jeopardized by a foreign entity. You have numerous individuals in the administration who have either implicitly or explicitly admitted that they have been in contact, direct contact, with Russian agents. How is anybody on the left still denying that this is a thing? And by the way, we have moderators, and I know, and there it is, our reliable moderator, RDR, starting to block people. The blocks are free, folks. You might be able to get away with it for 10 seconds, as you just did, but it's not going to work, and I have fully deputized. If you're one of these people who, after the stream, is going to go to davidpakman.com and email me and say, oh, David, free speech is being restricted because on your YouTube live stream, somebody blocked me. Don't expect a response from me. Okay, the moderators have been deputized and they have been given specific instructions. We're all on the same page here. This is not an issue of free speech. You're just not going to show up and troll the live streams. Okay, you're just not going to do it. And the moderators are managing this in a bigly tremendous way, okay? And they are, it's all happening, let me put it that way. I say it with peace and love. Okay, let me get back to what I was saying. How are any leftists at this point saying that the entire Trump-Russia thing is nothing? I still get, it's fewer and fewer, but I still get tweets from people saying, David, Trump-Russia is nothing. Stop talking about it, it's nothing. So far, we've not had any moment where we go, oh, you know what? We went too far on Russia. We've got to go back because we made a mistake. Every single aspect of the Trump-Russia story is either not disproven or proven so far. And even when we look at the Trump-Russia dossier, the blackmail dossier, which was put together by widely respected MI6 former MI6 agent Christopher Steele, yeah, Trump having a urine fetish hasn't been confirmed. But every single week, more and more aspects, more and more elements of the Trump blackmail dossier has been confirmed. So, please, I say this seriously. Explain to me in what way the Trump-Russia story is nothing. And, we have to talk about straw men here as well. if you are arguing, well, there might be a Trump-Russia story, but Russian hacking didn't impact the election. We are like months past that at this point, okay? At this point, it doesn't matter whether Russian hacking and releasing of information damaging to Hillary Clinton impacted the results. We're way beyond that, right? If Donald Trump and Michael Flynn and Jeff Sessions and Jared Kushner and Carter Page and Roger Stone, I mean, listen to the list here that I'm telling you. If they coordinated with Russia to try to have an advantage in an American election, it doesn't matter whether Russian hacking of John Podesta's emails changed the election. And I think that this is what a lot of people on the left may be missing. And again, it's very few people. Every single day, fewer and fewer people are emailing me saying, David, there's no story here. A few people are, but fewer and fewer. Big thank you to John Skinner, who has signed up for membership at davidpakman.com/membership. Big thank you to John Condry, who has signed up for membership at davidpakman.com/membership. Both of them using the coupon code IVoted17. We have a set of member benefits that is huge. I don't know how else to describe it. And it includes a daily bonus show just for our paid subscribers. And even if you use the coupon code IVoted17, you get a 40% discount, but you get 100% of the benefits, okay? And we do a lot of funny stuff on the bonus show. On the March 28th bonus show, we tried vegan cheese on air. On March 21st, I told what is now infamously called the St. Patrick's Day public urination story. The bonus show is a great time, so sign up at davidpakman.com/membership. Okay, people in the chat saying Steven Crowder is crushing me. Here's what I would encourage you to do, okay? YouTube revenue is not based on subscribers. YouTube revenue is based on views, because if someone subscribes, an ad doesn't play. And on YouTube, you make money when ads play. Go to socialblade.com and do a comparison between the David Pakman Show channel and Steven Crowder's channel, and compare views, not subscribers, and then come back and tell me with a straight face or a straight keyboard, call it what you want, that Steven Crowder is crushing us, okay? So just look at the data. This is not my opinion. The great thing is we have data that we can look at. Check out socialblade.com. We've got a 10 British pound super chat from Scottish Racer 98, who says, Flynn must have done something. Also, he must have dirt on the whole White House not heard any new that Nigel Farage helped Trump at rallies and he has ties to RT and WikiLeaks. I have no clue what this super chat is about. It's not a question, so I feel okay just reading it and sort of moving on. Flynn must have done something also. He must have dirt on the whole White House, also not heard any new that Nigel Farage helped Trump at rallies and he has ties to RT and WikiLeaks. Since you mentioned RT, I'll take this as an opportunity to mention that segment producer Noah Ferguson and I are working on a fake news long-form piece. It's going to be about 22 to 24 minutes, and we're going to talk about what is fake news, what isn't fake news, what's the difference between propaganda news and fake news, what is the original fake news, hint, it has to do with religion. It's going to be a really, really great piece, okay? So please stay tuned for that. And we're going to be dealing with that on the show. I think we have it scheduled not for this coming week, but for next week. Okay, so as far as the Michael Flynn thing and in terms of what's next, I don't like to, our show is not like a conspiracy theory show. So even today we did a story which you might find interesting, which is about, is Donald Trump suffering from cognitive decline that could be associated with early stage dementia or Alzheimer's, okay? We're not doing it in Alex Jones' voice and offering you colloidal silver in between, right? I'm basically coming to you and I'm saying, hey, listen, There are ways to measure early stage cognitive decline. If you go back and look at an analysis of how Ronald Reagan spoke during his presidency versus how George H.W. Bush spoke during his presidency, uh, you can identify an objective difference. And let's apply that to Donald Trump. And here's some data which could suggest that Trump maybe is experiencing early stage Alzheimer's or dementia. So we don't do conspiracy theory stuff, right? But at this point, it's very hard, if you've been following this the entire time, to believe that there's just nothing to see here. And some people say, David, you're being conspiratorial. I think the only way that you could have that perspective is if you're not paying attention or you're ideologically committed to denying what is out there. You know, I just don't get how else you could come to that conclusion. Karen Jones has sent a £2 super chat saying, can the White House stop Flynn testifying? Okay, so looking at the Sally Yates situation gives us a little bit of idea about this. Let me see how I can put this. If you take, the White House said we didn't take any action to stop Sally Yates from testifying. The literal interpretation of that is they didn't formally prevent her from testifying, but more than likely, like if we sort of think through what likely happened, they probably made pretty clear that it wouldn't be seen favorably for her to testify. So can the White House legally stop Flynn from testifying? There's probably a mechanism where they could try to invoke executive privilege in some way, although legal experts have already said that probably won't be able to, that doesn't really make sense given the circumstances. But my real concern is what I think some people in the chat are suggesting, which is I hope Sally Yates or Mike Flynn don't end up accidentally stabbing themselves in the back 10 times, right? If you know what I'm talking about when it comes to many of the players that are involved in this. That's sort of my concern. It's not so much the executive privilege thing or sort of a diplomatic or bureaucratic way of stopping him from testifying. But you don't want to end up accidentally shooting yourself in the back twice or something like that. We know that those accidents can really be damaging to your ability to speak out. Hey, by the way, Super Chat is on, and it sounds like I'm seeing some people in the chat who are saying don't pay for Super Chat. I don't know what the story, I don't know why people are so upset about Super Chat, but by all means, send those Super Chats in. We've already had 2 or 3, and most live streams I do get somewhere around, 15 or so Super Chats, I would say. There seems to be confusion in the chat about both former producer Lewis and current producer Pat, known as Vegan Pat or Keurig Pat. Lewis left the show about 6 months ago. He did not want to live in Boston any longer. And if people missed that story, we've got a bunch of videos about it. We've got like a Lewis going away day where we did a durian tasting, blah, 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 blah. So I don't want to belabor that. That's gone on. And Pat isn't here right now because Pat and I don't live together. It was interesting when people used to think that Lewis and I probably lived together because Lewis worked on the show. But no, Lewis had his own place. I have my own place. And since Pat doesn't live with me, he's not on the live streams. Okay. Let me pause there, and number one, let me say thank you to Tyrone Moss, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership using the coupon code IVoted17. I also want to say thank you to Claire Hill. Claire Hill has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership. There's a coupon code. It saves you 40%. The coupon code is IVoted17. And I am glad to mention that as we are approaching 800 people or so on the live stream. There's this interesting thing that's been going on with the live streams. I'll get back in a second to the Michael Flynn stuff. Initially, I would do these live streams off of my phone, the way I'm doing right now. And they would get sometimes 500 live streamers and sometimes 1,500 live streamers. And people said, hey, David, you should start scheduling the live streams ahead of time. People will see that you have a live stream coming up. It'll increase the audience of the live stream. So I did that. And when I stream from my laptop with my nicer mic and camera and the entire thing. And sometimes, again, we get 1,500 people on the live stream, and sometimes we only get 500. So I've actually not noticed that the live streams do better when I schedule them in advance. Certainly when I have, access to a better internet connection and my nicer camera and mic, the production value. I think we're back. I think I might be back on the air. Can anybody tell me whether we're back? I'm back. Okay, good. All right. Listen, this was an impromptu live stream because of breaking news. So real quick, Matt 080670 sent a $2 super chat saying, how do we vote to lower Trump's approval rating? You can't really vote to lower his approval rating, but if you get a call from Gallup polling you, then you can say, I don't approve of the job that Trump is doing. $2 super chat from Crystal S saying, Guccifer 2 conf Russ agents is WikiLeaks 2. I'm having trouble understanding that one. I guess the question is whether WikiLeaks is a Russian agent or was in touch with Russian agents. At this point, who knows? It's very, very hard to say what is going on. And sadly, we have lost nearly half of our audience because of that interruption, but I'm doing the best I can. We've got a $2 Australian super chat from Cameron Llewellyn saying, is immunity for Flynn's investigation or wider one? Immunity would basically be that if Flynn testifies in the investigation by Congress into the Trump-Russia scandal, he will not be prosecuted for anything related to that investigation. If he went out and killed someone unrelated to the investigation, he's not getting immunity for that, right? So it's specifically related to that investigation. I think I'm understanding the question that you're asking there. Big thank you, tremendous thank you going out to, oh boy, this is a tough name. Let me see if I can pronounce this. Rukayatu Takpara, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership with the coupon code I voted 17. Also, Randall Phillips, that's a much easier name. Randall Phillips has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership, and I appreciate that big time. So I found out, I saw a few things there asking David, how did you find out about the Michael Flynn story? Like literally, what am I doing? How do I find out about it? I was out with some friends, and all of a sudden, a friend walked in and said, Michael Flynn has just is open to immunity to testifying if he testifies in this investigation. And then we all get on our phones and start looking at all the articles on Reddit, on Google News, etc. And I think at this point, even Fox News is covering it. I mentioned that earlier, and I took a screenshot. After the news broke, I went and started looking at some different streams, and Tucker Carlson had the blockbuster story of Mike Pence being unwilling to dine alone with other women, the, of course, incredibly important story. However, if you go to foxnews.com now, you see that Michael Flynn is in talks to testify if assured immunity. You go to CNN.com, Flynn wants immunity. You go to MSNBC.com. What is their headline right now? I'm guessing it's the exact same thing. Flynn asks for immunity, quote, has a story to tell. And if you look on Google News, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, dozens and dozens of articles about this, and it seems like it is not looking particularly good for the Trump administration when it comes to this. I do want to restate, by the way, I know that there's people, I think when I was talking about this, some people were disconnected. I was sort of joking in a way when I said I hope Michael Flynn or Sally Yates don't end up accidentally stabbing themselves in the back 10 times. But can we in the chat, do you consider it a conspiracy theory at this point to say I'm worried about the physical security of Michael Flynn if he is indeed willing to testify in this way? I don't think it's in any way conspiratorial or outrageous, given what we've seen so far. And I see some people saying it's not conspiratorial. few people saying it is conspiratorial. I think given what's going on, and by the way, the number of suspicious Russian deaths that have gone on, what is a conspiracy at this point? To me, the conspiracy at this point is pretending like there's no Russia story. Truly, truly stunning. Let me talk about some of what's going on. The davidpakman.com/REDDIT. We now have over 3,200 of our viewers and listeners participating there on a regular basis. And I encourage you to sign up there. A lot of discussion about our story on Trump and potential early stage Alzheimer's or dementia. Check out that story. We have a number of stories there about Michael Flynn offering to testify about Russia for immunity. We have a number of threads talking about the constant scandals that our producer Vegan Pat or Keurig Pat or Patrick C. Ford has been involved in, including coffee and so many other things. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on at davidpakman.com/Reddit. We have, just like on the YouTube streams, we have moderators that have been deputized to control the trolling. We also have moderators on the Reddit discussion forum, so don't be worried about too much trolling. We've got things pretty well under control. $5 super chat from Nicholas Benny. Nicholas Benny says, hate to bring up old news, but did you read Lori Penny's article about Milo Yiannopoulos' story being an allegory for Peter Pan and the Lost Boys? Nicholas, I have not read it. However, I'm bookmarking it right now to read after the stream. We also have a 10 British pound super chat from Scottish Racer 98, who I think is clarifying an earlier super chat, saying, sorry, mistyped. Nigel Farage is a UK MEP who was speaking at Trump's rally next to Trump during the election. At the same time, he was appearing on Russia Today, also discussions of hosting a new show. Okay, yeah. I don't know the full backstory on the interplay between Nigel Farage and RT. I've seen an appearance he did on RT, although I don't fully know what the connections are there. But needless to say, RT will be certainly mentioned in our upcoming piece on fake news and propaganda news. Clarth1234 has sent a $2 super chat saying, would I debate Kuklinski on Russia? I assume Kuklinski is the secular talk equivalent of David Kuckman. I don't know what you talk about debate, but I'm obviously willing to talk to. I'm in touch with a lot of these people off air, Kyle Kulinski and Dave Rubin, and a lot of these different people. I always am willing to have a conversation about whatever issue they want to talk about. I've never. If we're going to have a respectful exchange of ideas, which may be differing ideas, absolutely, I'm willing to have a conversation about that. Kuklinski, I don't know anything about that. That seems to have as much credibility as David Kuckman. Curtis Rogers sent a $5 super chat. Does this, and I assume Curtis means the Michael Flynn willing to testify in exchange for immunity, does this increase I think there is no doubt that if you are of the mindset that we may well see a Trump impeachment or resignation under threat of impeachment or likely impeachment, there is no doubt that when your national security advisor, who resigned in shame after lying about his contacts with Russia, once he says he's willing to testify in exchange for immunity, in and of itself, it doesn't increase the likelihood of a resignation or impeachment, but it certainly tells us that there is a major story here which is probably not going to be favorable to the Trump administration. Phobos Moon has sent a $1 Canadian super chat with no question nor comment. I do want to send major thank yous. These are believe me, folks, these are huge thank yous going to Danielle Fedorko, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership using the coupon code IVoted17, and also Neil Stewart, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership using the coupon code IVoted17. Just a few interesting things that you might want to look at when you sign up. We do a daily extra show just for paid subscribers called The Bonus Show. It's more casual than the regular show. We do technology stories, more international stories, etc. But we also sometimes do things that are not political at all. On the March 21st bonus show, I told a story that has now gone down in infamy as the St. Patrick's Day public urination story. I would encourage you to check that out. Also, the March 28th bonus show, we had a viewer named Ashley who sent us, knowing that vegan producer Pat is vegan, sent us vegan cheese, and we tried it on air, and it was an interesting segment. So check that out after you sign up at davidpakman.com/membership. People asking about Ben Dixon and April 19th. Listen, I have not been authorized. So people might know that Ben Dixon of the Benjamin Dixon Show hosts his show out of the David Pakman Show studio. And actually, I might as well tell you about this. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with studio upgrades, but I'll get to that in a second. I have no clue what it is that Ben has said about April 19th. So I'm not going to comment. But I'm guessing, can someone tell me what Ben has said? I don't want to speak out of turn. Has he teased something for April 19th? Let me just say that, Ben's doing a great job. And I'm trying to think. I don't want to overstep. Is Ben on the chat? If Ben is watching the live stream, tell me what you've said so that maybe I can say something without, violating, overstepping any lines. I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody. I'm not sure what Ben has said. Anyway, April 19th, Ben Dixon. Yes, absolutely. Clarth1234 sent a $2 super chat saying, come visit the David Pakman Show Discord. Yes, there is a David Pakman Show Discord server. I don't actually know the details of it. Our great moderators on the David Pakman Show Reddit have set it up. There is information at davidpakman.com/Reddit about the Discord server. I have not joined it as of right now. And you can check that out. A couple people saying, Dangerous You're Not is asking how to sign up with a credit card for membership. Super easy. When you go to davidpakman.com/membership and select your membership level, you select credit card when you're paying for it. And that is basically it, which is exactly what Heather Taverner, has done, using the coupon code IVoted17. So very, very exciting. A lot of people signing up. And I actually should check out the Discord server. I'm seeing one of our mods say that it's been a good time on Discord. Gloomskull, can you post how many people have been on? Like, what's the biggest number of people that you've seen on the Discord server? I'm curious what's going on there. Like, I imagine it's sort of like the CompuServe chat rooms of 15 years ago, of the earlier internet. I'm wondering what it is that goes on there. Like, is it is it like a I'm guessing it's not like a phone sex line of any kind. I'm guessing it's political discussion or something. I don't know. NWA has sent a $2 Canadian super chat saying, does James Jackson nullify Trump's travel ban? I don't know what you're talking about. Is James Jackson the guy that went to New York City and shot black people? Let's see if it is. Let's see. James Jackson. Yeah, I think it is that guy. No, it doesn't really nullify the travel ban. I'm not sure that I completely understand the question. $5 super chat from Courtney Haynes saying, have you talked with Kyle Kulinski about the Russia thing? My impression is he's a bit fed up with it and thinks Democrats need to move on. I have not spoken to Kyle about the Russia thing. Kyle and I did a sort of simulcast type thing a week or so ago. And we did not talk about the Russia thing, but I'm not totally up to speed on what Kyle's view is on the Russia thing. I know people have been emailing me saying Kyle doesn't believe it, and I just don't really know what that means right now. But I am more than glad to talk to Kyle. And listen, anybody, I don't know what Kyle has said, but if your argument is Democrats need to move on from the Russia thing, this should not be partisan, okay? If a foreign power has colluded with a candidate to manipulate the election, that is an infringement on the sovereignty of American elections, and it shouldn't be partisan. It's bigly partisan. That's how it's become, but it really shouldn't be. Big thank you to Jennifer Mitz, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership. By the way, I've been getting some epic hate mail lately, and I've been posting a bunch of it to my Instagram. If you're on Instagram, by the way, I am like so close to 5,000 followers on Instagram. So please follow me there, david.pacman, and there's pictures of not only me flying a drone, there are screenshots of the hate mail I've been getting lately, and it's been escalating quite a bit. There are pictures of me with my dad's dog, known to some on the chat as Adderall Dog. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening on my Instagram. On that note, I have 2% battery left on my phone because this was a completely impromptu live stream. So rather than get disconnected when my phone dies, I will wrap up the chat now. Please do support the work we're doing, davidpakman.com/membership. Use the coupon code I voted 17 if you want, get a 40% discount. I promise I'll do another live stream very, very soon.